Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. We're live here inside the Suburban Chevrolet Make the Choice studios. We're talking to Marcus Ray. All of our guests are brought to you by Dexter Builders. Whether you're looking for bathroom remodeling, room additions, a replacement window, or other commercial and home remodeling, Dexter Builders can turn your home improvement ideas into reality. You know, I'm turning my vision of our Michigan softball academy team to a reality because, you know, we got our guest, Marcus Ray. He said, Marcus said, I'm down. I'm ready to talk some smack, ready to be in the softball academy.
And maybe bring a friend with him.
And maybe bring a friend, which I'll get to shortly. We got Jamie Morris, who said, you know, we need a guy with some speed on the base pass. J-Mo said, I'm there. We needed a guy that just he was the guts and glue, a guy that you knew was going to have your back with some Major League Baseball experience. Ricky Leach is going to be on the team. Then I said, you know, but I need to get myself right. I need to get myself in shape. I need to get my game tight for the softball academy. So I said, well, hey, you know, who can be a person that can get me right? Well, all I did was look up the person that trained Amanda Chittister during her high school years. So that's Skip Button over at Body Specs. Skip, can you make me right? He said, not only can I get you right, I'll be on the team too. So we got the Body Specs crew on the team, but we're trying to up the ante even more. So you got Marcus Ray, who's working on a Super Bowl champion. And Marcus, I know you aren't surprised, but Ricky Leach, he heard what you're saying. He's trying to do you better. And he's trying to get 2 World Series champions to join the squad. So just to let you know, man, this might be an all-time squad that we're putting together.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. And you know what? Each one got to go out and grab another. And, you know, it's going to be greatness everywhere. And that's why our team is going to win, because we got just enough of everything. You know, I'm the Bucktown bully for sure. So, you know, it's going to be one of them things where, you know, if things aren't going right, I'll pop off at the officiating. It's all for charity. We know that. But you know, I'll put a couple threats out there. Me and my boys from Flint, you know, Ricky Leach, we're not having it. Now, I don't know about J-Mo and all that speed that you talked about. Now, we said you needed speed. Yeah, I thought you was going to say Dre Weathers. You said, it's all right, though, Sam. But we're going to have a great team. And, you know, it's all for a great cause, though. But that sounds like an all-star team.
Yeah, we're putting it together. We got some people here from the office. My son is on the mend. He's going to be on the squad. So we're going to have a great time. You can be a part of it as well. msoftballacademy.org. Again, msoftballacademy.org, making strides against breast cancer. And that's where the true competition comes in, is on the fundraising side. We got much more to talk about with regard to the softball academy, Marcus. I want to get back to what we were talking about heading into the break. And that is, you look at the offensive side of the ball, and there is one senior, Marcus. There's one senior. And that's why when listening to Brady talk about leadership, you know, I said, hey, you know, my expectation was, it could be wrong, my expectation was that, hey, well, that's going to be definitely one of the first names out of his mouth. That Devin wasn't, doesn't mean that Devin isn't leading. That doesn't mean that. But I took it as, all right, that's a challenge right there. That's a challenge for that guy. That he's issuing to step up his game in multiple ways. Because I tell you what, and this is what I wanted you to speak to, if it's not him leading the offense, Marcus, who are you pointing to? Who's the guy that you say, yeah, that guy's the leader?
So it's not going to be very many names that you come up with, but I'll give you 2 right off the bat, and that's Jake Butt. He's been leading from the sideline, which, you know, speaks volumes for a kid his age in school right now, to go about his business very diligently and to work hard on and off the field, and to get guys to, you know, stay motivated and inspired. It takes a special kind of guy to be able to lead that young and, you know, to lead a group of men from the sideline. So that's one guy, Jake. And, you know, he'll return this year and he'll get a chance to play and lead by example. I think Devin Funchess is a guy. You know, you have to be careful when you're a budding superstar, because you can lose your humility and think that, you know, hey, I'm the guy, I don't have to lead, you know, watch me, this is my team. But the best leaders, you know, make everyone around them better. So I think Funchess is going to be a guy that they can go to for leadership. And I think from an offensive line standpoint, it has to be Glasgow. And even if he's not in the starting lineup or, regardless of where he plays, whether it's right tackle or guard or center or whatever, he's probably, the eldest statesman. If, I don't want to, be incorrect. I think he's one of the older guys up front, and they're going to need it from him. And I think maybe even Braden, at the tackle spot. Magnuson.
Mm-hmm.
I think the left tackle always has to be a guy that you can rely on from a leadership. So we're asking these guys to lead from youthful suits or positions or classes, but you got Butt and you got Funches. And I think the reason that Brady is not throwing Devin's name all over the place is because the reason that you say it's a challenge. It's a given on any team that the quarterback is a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And when his name is not mentioned, that means that he's still got some work to do, or if you mention his name too much, you may not get the leadership. And if you remember a season ago, I believe Brady was saying Devin's name an awful lot when it came to leadership and being a fourth-year guy and it's been around the program. And now he's had a spring under his belt again as a quarterback. And I think when you go 7-6, you start making changes. You do things a little bit differently from last year, and then you see how that works, and hopefully you get different results.
Right, and I want to be clear. I want to make it clear that he by no means did he say Devin isn't a leader. By no means did he say that, Devin isn't stepping up. He didn't say any of those things. This is more reading between the lines than anything else, that the first names that he mentioned were and the only names that he mentioned were those defensive guys. When, man, you got one senior on offense, I expect that to be one of the first names out of his mouth. That it wasn't, as I said before. I took that as a challenge, especially when you put that with him talking about the competition at the position and how it's going to be a battle in the fall and that kind of thing. I think that's definitely a challenge. But to your point, there are some other guys on offense, Marcus, that are going to be charged with really stepping up their games. A question for you to stick with that leadership, the leadership theme, the leadership question. A lot is being made of, Marcus. Now you're in the voluntary minicamp stage in the NFL, and Ndamukong Suh is not in Detroit. Now, a lot of people, you look across the local papers, there are national headlines saying that this is a problem for the Lions. On the other hand, I've heard some pundits say, what, all this stuff that people say about leadership is overstated. If a guy can play, if he can do his thing on the floor or on the court, that's all that's really important. I'm curious what your take on that is. Is this leadership thing overstated? Are we beating this thing to death too much with Ndamukong Suh and leadership? How do you stand on that?
Yeah, I think overall the majority of people are making more out of this than necessary. First of all, we're talking about the Detroit Lions. We're not talking about, you know what I mean? So we're not leadership at the Lions is kind of like, whoa,
But we're trying to get them to not be same old Lions, though.
And you know what? At the professional level, you need better football players. You need guys that make plays. That's what it comes down to. Some of the small things, the intangibles people think matter at the next level, it really doesn't. Like, I remember the old 08 Steelers, and this is no knock to Mike Tomlin, but he ran a very loose ship. Voluntary workouts. All right, hey, come if you can. If not, just make sure when you get here in July, you're in shape, and it's on you to learn the playbook and earn your paycheck. So they ran a very loose ship. I went to a couple of practices, and I just said, wow, this is completely different. You would think that maybe somebody like Tom Coughlin ran like a military show. You got to be on time, 5 minutes and you're late. And then people think that leads to victories. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, they had a game room. Guys were playing cards and just lounging around. I think practice might have started late a couple times just because, Mike just being slow and doing his thing, watching film, that led to a world championship. So as it relates to the Lions, leadership comes from in training camp and on Sundays. That's what it is. Leadership at the next level is in your performance, not your attendance. Attendance is voluntary. See, training camp is involuntary. You have to be there if you're under contract. So these guys put a lot of time in hours training, let's say from July to January. Now, anything after between January and that June, next July or whatever, that's their time. Some guys want to work out on their own. Some guys know the playbook. Okay, you got a new coach, new system, but when you're a defensive lineman, there's nothing to think about. They need Ndamukong Suh to be the best defensive lineman in the National Football League. That's where his leadership comes from. It has nothing to do with his attendance. He can be there physically and not speak to any of the rookies. And a lot of times they don't even teach guys the playbook because, you know what, they don't want you to beat the friend out or you might beat them out. I mean, it's just the pro game, it changes. There's little politics, little funny style, little antics that go on. You know, I remember when I walked in there and I started seeing guys like Tim Brown and Eric Turner and Russell Merrill, I was like, oh, man, I'm starstruck. And they didn't say a word to me. They're like, get this rookie out of here, man. So pro ball is all about performance, not attendance. And if they show up in July and every Sunday during the fall, that's where your leadership. So everybody's making, not everybody, but the ones who are, they need to just cool out, let it ride, and then rip Ndamukong Suh when he's not playing well instead of when he doesn't show up to something.
Okay, so this is the grown man effect you're saying of the NFL. You talking about grown men, so they sounds like you're saying they don't need to be led as much as maybe college kids do.
That's right. There are no scholarships in the NFL. A lot of guys find that out. We don't have time for you to develop. I mean, unless you're a high pick, whatever. Here's the deal. You're grown. You don't get paid during the summer, all right, unless you get the small checks that you show up to work out and all of that. Well, it's just more so you take care of your business and just be a pro when it's time to play ball. That's it. You have to police yourself. There are no scholarships. You don't have no head coach chasing you down in class. And, hey, you better come to workouts. You know, we got summer workouts beginning on. You know, that's the thing in college. It's not mandatory in college that you have to be at summer workouts.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but guys know that, yeah, I should be there if I want to have a chance to play. And then most college kids don't have anywhere else to work out. Unless they go back to the high school, it's not the same. These pro guys have professional trainers, and then, you know, they have guys that they work with during the combine, or they even go back to their old college. You know, I thought the program we had for a while with Gittleson was better than the one that we had when I went to the next level. And so a lot of guys felt that way when they came back and worked with Barwiz. I know Larry's been working with Mike Barwiz now for 7 years or 6 years, and it changed the pace of his career physically. So guys do what they want to do, but when in the pros, like you said, it's a grown man game. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. It's here today, gone tomorrow. We're going to roll with the 53 guys that show up on that first Sunday, week one. Those are the guys that we're going to be concerned with. Whatever happens between now and then is irrelevant.
Gotcha. All right, great stuff. Insight, as always, from Marcus Ray, Ray29, and one of the guys on this team, on our softball academy team, that's going to help us bring home that prize, bring home that trophy. So, Marcus, looking forward to it. Tell folks how they can get their hands on Rays of Light. I know many people, to come across you at the softball academy will be able to see some Rays of Light when you're out there, but how can they get their hands on it so they can actually take it home?
Yeah, they can, you know what? I'll bring some out to the game next week, or, it's the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the first. I'll have them out there with me then. You can always go to MDen, and you can go to Amazon all the time, or you can download that iBook or that ebook. And email me, mray29@gmail.com, and we can arrange something. And just for Ira this week, I'm not going to say my phone number. I think all of our listeners should know it by heart by now, So especially I know Repo Man knows. He texts and tweets me.
He's challenging you right now.
What did Repo Man say?
He says that if you hit one out of the park, if you hit one out of the park next week, he's going to donate $100 cash.
Hey, Ira, see, he's popping off while I'm on the phone, so I can't respond right now. And see, that's the Repo Man that I know. He takes a lot of shots in the dark. He's one of those guys that runs around, lost a little bit of weight. Now he's telling me my ankles are hurt. I'm a body slam Repo Man. Put that out there. Hey, Sam, Ira, I appreciate the Rays of Light, man. And let's continue to recruit great players for our softball academy team.
All right. Appreciate it, Marcus. Thanks a lot.
Right.
That was Marcus Ray one of the members of our softball academy team. And again, so we got Marcus Ray, firm commitment. Jamie Morris, firm commitment. Rick Leach, firm commitment. We got Marcus working on getting a Super Bowl champion on the team. Rick said, I could do better than that. I'm working on getting 2 World Series champs on the team. Well, you know what our job is? Aside from the last few recruiting stops that I have to make, I have an in-home visit at 11 a.m. this morning with the guy who is known around these parts. Done some things in the maize and blue. Gonna be talking to him about making the pledge, being on the team, helping us fundraise. Gonna talk to him. Got some ladies to get on the squad as well. But we want you. You want to be a part of our team and you can fundraise? You want to be on this team with all these Michigan greats? Tweet us at Michigan Insider. Tweet me directly at SamWeb77, and we might just have a spot for you on our Michigan Softball Academy team. We got to get to a break. Back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the official voice of University.